As I arrived at my parents' place, I prepared myself in my mind for yet another family meal. I wasn't against meeting my family, but there was always that underlying tension that I couldn't quite get rid of, and they had been happening more often lately. I'm Jasmine, and I've made a respectable life for myself at the age of 32. I oversee software projects at a mid-sized IT business, and although my hours can be lengthy, I get paid well. I've always been self-reliant and career-focused, which occasionally feels like a crime in my family's eyes. I could immediately hear the commotion inside as I made my way to the front entrance. The children of my sister Emma were yelling uncontrollably. Emma is 35, married to Rick, and they have 2 kids, Tyler, who's 7, and Lily, who's 5. They're cute kids, don't get me wrong, but they're wild. Emma believes in natural parenting, which, as far as I can tell, means letting them do whatever they want. Aunt Jazzy, yelled Tyler as he nearly knocked me over running through the hallway. Hey, buddy, I said, steadying myself. Maybe slow down a bit. Emma appeared from the kitchen, waving dismissively. Kids, be careful, she called out, but her tone made it clear she didn't expect them to listen. Hey, sis. I was about to respond when I noticed how dressed up she was. Emma was wearing a navy blue cocktail dress, with her hair done up, makeup perfect. For a Sunday dinner at our parents' house? That was weird. Wow, you look nice. What's the occasion? I asked, giving her a quick hug. She just smiled mysteriously. No reason. Can a girl dress up sometimes? Rick was on the couch scrolling through his phone, barely looking up when I entered. Hey, Jasmine, he muttered. Mom bustled up from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. She seemed unusually jittery. Dad was setting the table, and he too seemed distracted. Hi, sweetheart, he said, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek before rushing back to arrange the silverware just so. Something was definitely off. My parents were being weird. Emma was dressed like she was going to an awards ceremony, and Rick kept exchanging glances with her when they thought I wasn't looking. I sat down at the table, watching everyone bustle around me. The tension in the air was palpable. Mom dropped a serving spoon and jumped like she'd been shocked. Dad kept clearing his throat. Emma kept smoothing her dress and checking her reflection in the decorative mirror on the wall. Finally, dinner was served, Mom's pot roast with all the fixings, a family favorite. But the meal was strangely quiet, with everyone giving short, distracted answers to my attempts at conversation. Emma and Rick were giving each other those knowing looks again. The kids were the only ones acting normal, which meant they were making a mess and ignoring all attempts to get them to eat properly. When dessert was finished, a store-bought cheesecake that Mom hadn't even bothered to transfer to one of her nice plates, Dad suddenly cleared his throat loudly. Before anyone leaves, he announced, his voice deeper than usual, your mother and I have an important announcement to make. Emma straightened up, adjusting her dress. Rick put his arm around her. The kids continued to play with their dessert, oblivious. Linda, Dad said to Mom, would you get the folder? Mom jumped up immediately and hurried to the study. She returned with a manila folder, which she placed carefully on the table. My stomach tightened. What was going on? I glanced at Emma, who was doing a poor job of hiding her excitement. She and Rick clearly knew what was coming. Mom took a deep breath and looked around the table. Your father and I visited our lawyer last week, she began. We've been thinking about the future, and at our age, it's important to have everything in order. Dad nodded solemnly. We've drawn up a new will. I felt my heart rate pick up. This explained the formal dinner and everyone's strange behavior. But why did Emma and Rick already seem to know about it? Mom continued, her voice trembling slightly with what seemed like rehearsed emotion. We've decided that this house, and everything in it, will go to Emma. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I sat there, frozen, as Emma made a show of wiping away tears. Mom, Dad, she said, her voice cracking, I don't know what I've done to deserve such an honor. That snapped me out of my shock. What had she done to deserve it? That's what I wanted to know. Yeah, I said, my voice coming out harsher than I intended. I'd like to know that too. What exactly has Emma done to deserve all this? I gestured around the house whose mortgage I'd been paying for the last 3 years. The memories flooded back, crystal clear. The desperate phone call from my parents 3 years ago. Mom crying, saying the bank would take their house. Medical bills had piled up after Dad's knee surgery, and they couldn't make the mortgage payments. When I'd suggested they ask Emma for help, they'd immediately dismissed the idea. She has 2 children to care for, they'd said. She can't help us. So I'd stepped up. I'd put my plans to buy my own place on hold. I'd been paying their $2,400 monthly mortgage for 3 years straight, plus utilities, plus emergency expenses whenever their car broke down or the water heater needed replacing. And all this time, Emma and her family had been regular fixtures here, never once offering to help financially or even with simple tasks like washing dishes after these family dinners. Now it all made sense. The strange behavior. Emma's dress. The secret smiles between her and Rick. They'd known about this announcement. They'd been waiting for it. My parents' faces turned an angry shade of red as they processed my question. The dining room fell silent, except for the background noise of Tyler and Lily still playing with their dessert. "How dare you?" Mom finally said, her voice low and dangerous. "After everything we've done for you?" Dad slammed his hand on the table. "You were obligated to help us, Jasmine. That's what daughters do. And we have every right to leave our property to whomever we choose." I sat there, stunned by their reaction. Obligated. Was that how they saw the $2,400 I sent them each month? Not as a sacrifice or act of love, but as an obligation. "You know what?" Emma interjected, her fake tears suddenly dry. "I didn't expect this kind of greed from you, Jasmine. You're acting like a gold digger." Rick nodded beside her, putting on a concerned face that made me want to throw my water in his face. "It's easy for you," Emma continued, her voice dripping with sanctimony. "You're single. You don't have children. You have no idea what it's like to raise 2 kids and put every cent into their future. Some of us have actual responsibilities." I looked around the table at their faces. My parents were glaring at me with undisguised anger. Emma had a triumphant smirk that she wasn't even trying to hide anymore. Rick looked smug, probably already calculating what they could get for the house if they sold it. That was it. The final straw. Without saying a word, I stood up from the table. I walked to the guest room where I'd left my purse and jacket, grabbed my things, and headed for the front door. I got in my car and drove away, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. I made it about 5 miles before I had to pull over. Tears blurred my vision as the full weight of what had just happened crashed down on me. I parked at the curb and just sat there, sobbing. For 3 years, I'd been helping them. 3 years of saying no to vacations, postponing my own home purchase, turning down after-work drinks with colleagues because I was budgeting so carefully to make sure my parents were taken care of. And all that time, they saw me as nothing but an ATM. After crying for what felt like an hour, I pulled back onto the road. But the anger was making me shake so badly that I had to stop again, this time at a 24-hour diner. I ordered the strongest tea they had and sat in a corner booth, trying to calm down. By the time I got home to my apartment, it was after midnight. I was exhausted but too wired to sleep. I opened my laptop and logged into my banking app, something I'd been avoiding doing for the last 3 years because I didn't want to see exactly how much I'd been spending on my parents. I created a spreadsheet and went through my transaction history meticulously, documenting every payment. The mortgage payments alone totaled $86,400. Then there were the utility bills, the car repairs, the new water heater, the property taxes I'd covered last year when they claimed they were short. The final tally made me feel sick. $13,782. Over $100,000 that I would never see again, given to people who didn't even have the decency to be grateful. I looked at the next scheduled payment set to go out in 2 weeks. With a sense of both loss and liberation, I canceled it. Then I blocked their phone numbers. I made myself a cup of mint tea, took a hot shower, and went to bed. For the first time in years, I slept without worrying about anyone but myself. The next 2 weeks were blissfully quiet. No calls from Mom asking me to cover some unexpected expense. No texts from Emma about how busy she was with the kids, suddenly suggesting I should help Mom with whatever she needed. Just peace and quiet. I threw myself into work, and when my boss mentioned she had a hard time getting people to take their vacation days, I impulsively asked for 2 weeks off. To my surprise, she agreed immediately. "You haven't taken more than a long weekend in 3 years, Jasmine," she said. "You're overdue." That night, I booked a trip to Florida. A beachfront hotel, a rental car, and absolutely no plans except to relax. My first real vacation in years, and I was going to enjoy every minute of it. The day before my flight, as I was going through my packing list and making sure I hadn't forgotten anything, my phone started buzzing. I glanced at it and saw my mom's name on the screen. I had unblocked her number after a week, not out of forgiveness, but because I wanted to know if there was a genuine emergency. I ignored it. She called again. And again. Then Dad started calling. Then Emma. Back to Mom. It was relentless. After about 20 calls, I finally picked up. "What?" I snapped, already regretting my decision. "Where's the money?" Mom shouted, not even bothering with a hello. "The mortgage payment was due yesterday and the bank called us. You didn't transfer the money." I couldn't help it, I laughed. The sheer audacity of it was almost impressive. "What's so funny?" Mom demanded. "This is serious, Jasmine. You need to send the money right away." "Let me get this straight," I said, still chuckling in disbelief. "You leave the house to Emma in your will, but you expect me to keep paying for it? Are you serious right now?" "This isn't a joke," she yelled. "We could lose the house." "That's not my problem anymore," I said, surprised by how calm I felt. "The house belongs to Emma now, so let her pay for it." "How can you be so selfish?" Mom's voice rose to a shriek. "After everything we've done for you, this is your family duty, Jasmine." "No, it's not," I replied. "My duty to myself is to stop letting you take advantage of me. Emma gets the house. Emma can pay the mortgage. I'm done." I hung up. Then I turned my phone off completely, finished packing, and went to bed early. My flight was at 7 a.m., and I didn't want to be tired for the first day of my vacation. The next morning, I boarded my flight to Florida with a lighter heart than I'd had in years. For 2 glorious weeks, I was going to think about nothing but sunshine, ocean waves, and what book to read next. The Florida sunshine was exactly what I needed. I checked into my beachfront hotel, tossed my suitcase on the bed, and immediately changed into my swimsuit. Within an hour of landing, I had my toes in the sand and a fruity drink in my hand. But my family wasn't ready to let me enjoy my peace. My phone kept buzzing with texts and calls that I ignored. I should have kept them blocked, but some part of me wanted to know what they were saying, like watching a car crash in slow motion. "Mom, the bank called again. We need that money now." "Dad, your mother is very upset. Call us immediately." "Emma, how could you do this to our parents? They're going to lose their home." When her messages went unanswered, Emma escalated. "Emma, I have 2 children. I can't afford the mortgage. You have to pay it. It's your responsibility." That last one made me laugh out loud, startling the couple on the beach chairs next to mine. I decided to block them all again and focus on my vacation. For the next few days, I lived the life I'd been denying myself for 3 years. I swam in the ocean, took a sunset cruise, ate at nice restaurants without checking prices, and slept in as late as I wanted. I took selfies on the beach and at local attractions, posting them on my social media without thinking twice. Big mistake. By day 4 of my vacation, the comments started appearing on my photos. "Mom, how can you be enjoying yourself when you know we're about to lose our home? So cruel." "Emma, must be nice to have no responsibilities while your family suffers. Hope you're proud of yourself." "Rick, Your sister is crying every night worried about your parents, but enjoy your selfish vacation. I should have deleted the comments and moved on, but something in me snapped. I was tired of being the villain in their story. So I posted a picture of myself with a gorgeous sunset behind me and captioned it, "First vacation in 3 years." The years I spent paying my parents' $2,400 monthly mortgage. That's when all hell broke loose. Relatives I hadn't heard from in ages started commenting, asking what was going on. My cousin Alicia messaged me privately. "What's this about you paying your parents' mortgage? Aunt Linda never mentioned that." Before I could respond to anyone, my phone alerted me to a new notification. I had been removed from the family WhatsApp group. Curious, I texted my cousin Alicia and asked what was happening in the group. She sent me screenshots. My mother had posted a long message. "Our daughter Jasmine has abandoned us in our time of need. After all we've done for her, raising her and supporting her, she has turned her back on us out of jealousy toward her sister. We may lose our home because of her cruelty. Please pray for us during this difficult time." My blood boiled. They were playing the victims and making me out to be the villain when they were the ones who had used me for years and then planned to leave everything to Emma. I decided it was time for the truth to come out. I went on my social media page and typed out a post that all my relatives would see. I need to set the record straight. 3 years ago, my parents called me saying they were in financial trouble and might lose their house. I stepped up and have been paying their $2,400 monthly mortgage, plus utilities and other expenses, ever since. In total, I've paid over $100,000 to keep them in their home. Last month, they announced they're leaving the house to my sister in their will. When I questioned this decision, they told me I was obligated to help them as their daughter. Now they expect me to continue paying for a house that will never be mine. I love my parents, but I won't be used as an ATM anymore. I attached screenshots of some of the bank transfers I'd made to my mother over the years. The evidence was undeniable. The response was immediate. Relatives flooded my post with supportive comments. "I had no idea, Jasmine. Your parents told everyone Emma was helping them financially. This is outrageous. You were taken advantage of. Stay strong, girl. You did the right thing cutting them off." Mom and Emma tried to claim in the comments that I was lying, that the money was a gift, not specifically for the mortgage. But no one was buying it. The family had seen the evidence. After that explosion of drama, I decided to truly disconnect. I unfollowed my parents and sister on all social media platforms, blocked their accounts, and turned off my phone for the rest of my vacation. The remaining days in Florida were peaceful. I read books on the beach, went parasailing, took a day trip to the Everglades, and started thinking about my future. With an extra $2,400 in my monthly budget, I could actually start saving for my own home. The thought filled me with excitement and possibility. When my vacation ended and I flew back home, I felt refreshed and clear-headed. The concierge in my apartment building stopped me as I was bringing in my luggage. "Miss Jasmine, your parents were here yesterday asking about you. They wanted to know if you were back from vacation yet." My heart sank. So they were trying to ambush me at home now. "Thank you for letting me know, Miguel. If they come back, please don't let them up. I don't want to see them." He nodded sympathetically. "Understood, Miss Jasmine. I'll inform the other concierges as well." I spent the next few weeks throwing myself into work. For the first time in years, I was saving significant money each month. I met with a financial advisor who helped me create a plan to save for a down payment on my own home. I calculated that within a year, I would have enough for a modest condo in a neighborhood I liked. The sense of freedom was intoxicating. I started socializing more, joining a hiking group and accepting invitations to happy hours with colleagues. Life was good. Then one evening, about 2 months after the family dinner fiasco, I walked out of my office building to find my parents waiting by my car in the parking lot. My stomach dropped, but I kept my composure as I approached them. Mom looked thinner, with dark circles under her eyes. Dad seemed older somehow, his shoulders slumped. "What do you want?" I asked, keeping my distance. Mom stepped forward, her eyes pleading. Jasmine, please. We need to talk. She stepped forward again, wringing her hands. Jasmine, we made a mistake. We've been talking. She glanced at Dad. We're willing to change the will. We can make it fair. Split everything between you and Emma. We just need your help with the mortgage. Please. I couldn't help it, I laughed. It was so transparent. So that's why you're here. You still want my money. It's not like that, Dad protested. We're genuinely sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry that your ATM stopped working? Mom's face crumpled. How can you be so cold? We raised you. And then you used me for 3 years. I paid your bills while Emma did nothing. Then you decided to leave everything to her. Now you're only here because you need money again. We can't make the mortgage payments, Mom said, her voice rising with desperation. The bank is threatening foreclosure. That sounds like Emma's problem, I said coldly. The house is going to her, right? Let her figure it out. She can't help, Mom cried. She has the children to think about. I shook my head in disbelief. You know what? I don't care anymore. Emma is 35 years old. Her kids are in school. There's nothing stopping her from working to help you out. But no, I cut her off. I'm done. I've spent over $100,000 on you in the last 3 years, money I could have used for my own home, my own future, and you didn't even have the decency to be grateful. Mom started crying loudly, causing a couple of my coworkers walking to their cars to look over curiously. I knew this tactic too well now. The tears were just another form of manipulation. I hope you and Emma figure something out, I said, unlocking my car door. Maybe get second jobs. That's what people do when they can't pay their bills. This is all your fault, Mom shouted as I got in my car. If you had just kept helping us. I shut the door, cutting off her words. As I drove away, I saw them standing in the parking lot, Mom still yelling while Dad tried to calm her down. I felt nothing but relief as they disappeared in my rearview mirror. That confrontation was 6 months ago. True to my word, I haven't given them a cent since. According to my cousin Alicia, who still keeps me updated despite my parents' attempts to turn the family against me, they both found part-time jobs to help make the mortgage payments. Dad's working at a hardware store on weekends, and Mom's doing administrative work at a dental office 3 days a week. Emma still doesn't help them financially. She's too busy telling anyone who will listen that I'm the villain in this story, that I abandoned my elderly parents out of petty jealousy. Most of the family doesn't believe her anymore, but she keeps trying. As for me, I'm doing better than ever. After cutting off that financial drain, I've managed to save nearly $20,000 toward a down payment on my own place. My financial advisor thinks I'll be ready to buy within another 6 months, well ahead of my original timeline. I've started dating again too. Nothing serious yet, but it's nice to go out to dinner or a movie without worrying about whether that money should be going to my parents instead. I joined a book club and a yoga class, little luxuries that I denied myself for years. Last month, I ran into my sister at the grocery store. It was bound to happen eventually in a town this size. She was with Tyler and Lily, who have grown since I last saw them. They spotted me first and ran over excitedly. Aunt Jazzy, Lily squealed, hugging my legs. We miss you. Despite everything, I couldn't help smiling. I've missed you too, kiddo. Emma approached cautiously, her expression guarded. Kids, let's go. We're in a hurry. As she pulled them away, she paused to look at me. Mom and Dad are struggling. You know they're exhausted from working those extra jobs. I met her gaze steadily. That's tough. You could always help them out. She flushed. I have children to support. So you keep saying. I turned back to my shopping cart. Goodbye, Emma. After they left, I finished my shopping with a strange sense of peace. 6 months ago, that encounter would have left me angry and hurt. Now I just felt detached, like I was observing someone else's family drama. That night, I sat on my balcony with a glass of wine, looking at real estate listings on my laptop. There was a cute 2-bedroom condo not far from work that had just come on the market. I made a note to call my realtor in the morning. My phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Alicia. Family dinner at Grandma's this Sunday. She specifically asked me to invite you. Emma and your parents won't be there. I smiled and texted back, I'd love to come. It's been a hard journey learning that family isn't always what you want it to be. Sometimes the people who should love you the most are the ones who take advantage of your generosity. It was a painful lesson, but a necessary one. I don't hate my parents or my sister. I've let go of the anger that consumed me after that fateful dinner. Now I just feel sorry for them, sorry that they couldn't appreciate what they had, sorry that their greed and favoritism cost them a daughter who would have done anything for them if they'd just been fair. But I'm not sorry I cut them off. It turned out to be the healthiest choice I have ever made. The clarity that comes with distance was something I was thankful for as I shut off my laptop and gazed up at the night sky. My parents didn't want a daughter, they wanted an ATM. Instead of a sibling, Emma wanted a scapegoat. I also desired to be valued by my family. Sometimes we find something better, who we are, when we let go of the things that are causing us pain, even if we can't always obtain what we want. About the condo, I'll give you a call tomorrow. The family members who still treat me with respect will join me for supper next week. And I'll keep creating the life I desire, free from guilt and manipulation, every single day. As it happens, that is more valuable than any inheritance could possibly be.